Incendiary billows, industry cons, cognitive descent. Sea, waterway circles river's fixed end. Mind grasps coin, no sight in silicon slate. Clarity of human thought, paths to better expression. Embody refined sense of inhalation. Deep, full, and strong breath support clear circulation. Now that global carbon dioxide outdoors is 400 part per million, it behooves us to investigate currents over seas. Regard sky and temporary vapors. A new study from the Harvard School of Public Health finds that carbon dioxide has a direct and negative impact on human cognition and decision-making. This new research corroborates several studies in the past 2 decades that find low to moderate levels of CO2 negatively impact productivity, learning, decision-making, and test scores. Such impacts are observed at CO2 levels most Americans are routinely exposed to today inside classrooms, offices, homes, planes, and cars. This is a stunning reminder of the need to circulate and replenish indoor air supply. They found that on average, a typical participant's cognitive scores dropped 21% with a 400 part per million increase in CO2. In surveys of elementary school classrooms in California and Texas, CO2 levels were observed to reach on average 1,000 part per million, 2,000 part per million, and in 21% of Texas classrooms, peak CO2 concentration exceeded 3,000 part per million. We don't know the exact threshold at which CO2 levels begin to impair cognitive functions, but Harvard researchers detected negative impacts at 930 part per million. Solutions include monitoring CO2 levels more closely rather than only monitoring collective air quality metrics. Green design features and technologies should be considered for renewing indoor air because most modern buildings are tightly sealed for insulation effectiveness. CO2 is rising at greater than 2 part per million a year and accelerating. According to an exceptionally conservative estimate by researchers at Climate Interactive, we are on a path to 675 part per million by 2100. However, running that course will take the planet light years beyond its life-sustaining properties. Because once self-reinforcing feedback loops ignite, environmental decay amplifies. Indicative of the degrading environment is the loss of oxygen in the oceans. In some tropical regions, oxygen levels have dropped by a startling 40% in the last 50 years. Globally, oxygen levels have dropped 2%. Warming oceans equal less oxygen for a couple of reasons. First, warmer liquid holds less gas. Second, slightly cooler water from melt zones disrupts ocean currents, according to Andreas Aschles, an oceanographer at Helmholtz Center for Ocean Research in Kiel, Germany. Because nutrient-rich water is flowing less into key environments, animals at the base of the food chain, such as zooplankton, are becoming less productive. Additionally, warmer oceans facilitate deoxygenation in nutrient-rich waters where bacterial blooms consume oxygen as they break down dead marine life. With 70% of oxygen in the atmosphere produced by marine plants, phytoplankton, kelp, and algal plankton, slight changes in ocean health dramatically disrupts the food web. Oceans are losing breath. Solutions include limiting agricultural runoff, which fertilizes algal blooms, causing dead zones. Our duty is plain. Ventilate available strength. Create cleaner living spaces. Survival rings loud. Lift the last breath firmly. Carefully trace and preserve the lowly.